Hey guys, it's Crystal Lee Moore Lucier here, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Crystal Lee Moore, and this is Realtor Life, a fun and entertaining look at life in the trenches as a real estate professional or entrepreneur in Ontario. I'm so happy you're here. Today we're going to be talking about pivoting, I know, the P word, camaraderie, getting on the same page, and giving back. So let's get started. So pivoting. So if you've been a realtor for at least the last 4 years, pivoting has been your superpower. We had to pivot in the COVID-19 pandemic. I know we don't like saying the C word, but we did. And it became something where we really had to learn on our feet quickly. And for anyone listening who became a realtor around that time, there are different struggles that you have probably had to go through, and the learning curve was huge. But then when all the dust settled, what a lot of my younger colleagues are finding is that they all of a sudden didn't have the skills they needed to work in a balanced market. And that can be really tough. Currently, the reason I brought up pivoting today is that as many people that speak to me for 5 minutes know, I'm a huge fan of Buffini and Company out in California. So I coach with them. I'm a mentor with them. I'm a facilitator with them. And I'm just a big fan all around. So part of that program is that as I'm reaching out to people, and how I've built my business is with calls. So actually calls, texts, video calls, pop-bys, so little gifts that I pop by people, and notes. And the notes are mailed in the mail, and the mail is delivered by Canada Post. And if you've been paying attention to our news here in Canada, this is November 19th, 2024. We have a problem with the Canada Post. They're on strike right now. And no matter how, whatever your stance is on strikes, I think we can all agree that if you're not involved in the strike, it's a huge pain. And so we've been trying to figure out how to pivot. So as it is important to stay in touch with people, and I mean, no one's getting any mail, so how can we work around that? I've been brainstorming about how to get my handwritten notes to my clients without kind of stopping my full-time job as a real estate professional and becoming a courier. So one of the things that I would suggest is that we can either write a little note and send people kind of in an email or a text or some way that they'll get it, and make it funny. So just be like, hey, this would have come in the mail, except it can't be delivered right now. The other thing you could do is kind of map out your city, and wherever your clients are, just take a couple hours and just go hand deliver some stuff. You can double down and hand deliver a little gift as well. And just figure that out, or you can change your goals. So for me, I have to call 65 people every week, and I have to deliver 15 notes and I think 10 pop-bys. And again, a pop-by is just a little gift. It can be big, it can be small, but it's something from you to them that just says, here you go. So it could be yard waste bags. It could be wrapping paper. It could be candy, chocolate, coffee, wine. It's really whatever you think your client would like, that's what it is. And so you could do that. It really depends, or you could change your goals. So I may, until the strike is over, I may change my goals to 75 calls and 15 pop-bys, right? So the point of it is just to make sure that you're still reaching out. And that's kind of where it becomes a big deal. But the thing is, like, a note is something where you are sending a note to your client. So, dear Mary and Bob, really appreciate you. I hope you're having a great day. Look forward to talking with you soon. I hope keep smiling, from Crystal. And the reason this is important is that it can't be like a mass email. It can't be something where you're like, hey, insert name here, blah, 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 warmly, Crystal Lee Moore. Because the thing is, people, I mean, we all, when you get a form letter from people, you notice it. Now, if it's valuable information, you appreciate it, but you know it wasn't just for you. So that's the whole point of the personal note, is that it's personal. It's just for you. And if we kind of skip that and we don't give people that feeling, then the personal side of it kind of goes away. So it's just trying to figure out the pivoting. And it's not a good year for me to appreciate strikes because my sister is so talented. My youngest sister, she is a dancer, a singer, and she has been working hard all year. She had a starring role in the musical We Will Rock You in Brampton, Ontario. And she was able to do the first 3 shows, and we had tickets. We were supposed to go. And then the city workers in Brampton went on strike. And the way it worked out, the strike is over, but the way it worked out, her shows were canceled. And I think that what should have happened is that everything should have just been bumped up by a week. So she should have been able to continue her show. We should have been able to see it. And then everyone moving forward should have had their dates changed. It doesn't really make sense to punish a small group, and I know it's probably just by chance. And I'm sure that the issues were very important, but it's kind of, the issue wasn't between anyone and the performers. So I personally think that sometimes we have to remember that when you're resolving, and this message is for all people involved in strike negotiations, when you're resolving the actual conflict, maybe just make sure that all of the kind of innocent bystanders are protected. That's my request. Public service announcement. Okay. So that is on pivoting. And the thing is, so when I talk about pivoting for the Canada Post strike, I'm just it's a brainstorm activity. So I run a mastermind in our office, and I also am part of a really great training group with agents all over the country. And I run another group of realtors, So when we're all gathered together, we kind of use that collective brain power and we talk about it. We're like, what can we do? So my ideas that I shared, it's kind of, I do that sometimes just on my own, and just brainstorm. So if you're ever struggling with something, brainstorm it. I have a listing right now, super gorgeous, not selling, and we're just doing little things here and there. So we adjusted the price. My client painted the garage. I'm going to be sharing some stuff out. So it really comes down to just thinking outside the box, because, and this is a message for everyone, but especially anyone who kind of came up as a realtor in COVID. During COVID, I could have put a Post-it note on the front door of a house and just manage the lineup of people that wanted to buy it. And that's great. That's fantastic. That's not selling real estate. That's managing in a crazy market. But the skills that you get in how to sell, how to market, how to negotiate, all those things, those are skills you get when there's a down market or a balanced market. And right now we have a balanced market. The media, I think, and some naysayers would like people to think it's a down market. It's really not. Our prices are still much higher than they were before COVID. In 2017, in London, Ontario, the average price was $350, and we kind of creeped up in 2022. At the beginning of the year, we were pushing 900,000 in London, Ontario as our average price, which is insane. And now we're kind of just hovering over 600,000, and so it's important to know that. And we're holding steady. So I think the prices are much better, but remember that if you're comparing to an anomaly, so everyone's prices at the beginning of 2022, not sustainable. And this is kind of where I'm so fortunate to be part of Royal LePage Canada and to be part of Buffini & Company, and to get the amazing benefit of other wonderful professionals that I get to listen to, because all of the research that we get it's vetted, and it's a lot of time goes into curating it. We get mid-year updates. We're setting ourselves up for a very good spring 2025. But if you listen to sometimes the media and everyone's kind of, oh my goodness, things are bad. They're not bad. They're really not. People are buying, people are selling. You just have to see the opportunity where it is. Okay, so now camaraderie and getting on the same page. So I've said this before, but this is very important. Every deal that I have done in the past, probably ever, but realistically in the past 3 years, has been the result of working together with the agent on the other side. Now, if you are in a market where you don't really get to know the agents, like a bigger market, I know Toronto is really tough. There's a chance that you might never do a deal with the same person twice. But at the end of the day, if you can work together with that agent, you're going to have clients who are very happy at the end of the day, right? So 2 sets of client, buyer, seller, happy reviews, happy results. And then you have this new forged relationship with someone where you can work together again. I find sometimes I'm having to bring people along into this mindset because I had a deal last year and it almost didn't close. And I was the success I've had is from working with the agent. So not necessarily before closing, we have quite a bit of ability to talk with our clients. After closing, it's lawyers. We can't do anything. And so before closing, we were having a struggle. So I asked the agent if he could just reach out to his clients, and he wouldn't. He didn't want to. He just was kind of washing his hands of it. And luckily, I was able to kind of coordinate with the lawyer. So if you're lucky, 90% of the real estate lawyers I have worked with are amazing to work with, and I would recommend them every day. 10% do not care to speak to realtors and have no respect for realtors. 90% though, focus on them. And that's not all lawyers. That's just the lawyers that I've worked with personally. So you really want a real estate lawyer who's going to talk with you and to kind of work with you. And this is just a personal preference. So if you have a real estate lawyer and you're fine not getting involved, then that's for you. This is just my opinion. But I've had situations before where the lawyers and I work together to get a good result for the client. And so I worked with a lawyer, we ended up getting closed, and it was fantastic. And then I've had other situations where it's almost like if the agent is used to another agent being adversarial or kind of bringing conflict, it can be really tough to kind of talk them off the ledge because at the end of the day, yes, I represent my client, you represent your client, but we're on the same trajectory. Our unified goal is a successful closing with 2 sets of happy people. And sometimes you forget, and this is kind of a lesson from Buffini, our job is to stay calm and to kind of guide the process. But if we're bringing misinformation into it, if we are kind of bringing our own stuff, and sometimes it happens to me. So a good example, because the thing is, so I've been doing this for 15 years, I think. Yeah, 15 years now. So when I look at everything that I do, and my experience, I have a certain way of doing things. And so after 15 years, I'm pretty, I think, well-versed in what should be and shouldn't be. But if you take the stance that you can't learn anything, it becomes an issue. So I had a situation where the agent on the other side, I asked for something simple, and it was a big deal. And it was a big deal because he had learned that this could be a red flag, and that in the event that something bad was going to happen, his clients weren't being protected. Now, it's a fair ask. Okay, so I wanted to take someone's name off of a deal. It didn't need to be there anymore. Wasn't a huge issue, but interestingly enough, there were either with him or with another colleague, someone had an issue where taking someone's name off of a deal became a red flag. And I had never even considered this. And so when we are looking at the whole picture, I came at a negotiation saying, okay, well, this is kind of what we need to do to get to the closing. And then he came to it, well, we can't do that because we need to get to the closing. So we both wanted the same result, but we weren't quite matching up. So I did my due diligence. I talked with our lender, I talked with our lawyer, and everyone said, yeah, no, that's fine. It works. And so I was fine. That's the thing. You can't get emotionally involved or emotionally kind of committed to an outcome. My job is just to kind of help my clients get to the closing, and his job is to help his clients get to the closing. So it's important that you always kind of, even if something's brand new, even if you've been doing this for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, you can always learn something. But also to make sure that it's the right something. I've had other situations where people seem to have a different idea of what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. And then it's always just learning together, because at the end of the day, you and the other agent are trying to get to the finish line together, because you don't want a situation where things don't close. I remember during COVID, I had a deal, and the agent, he was nice enough, but his clients wanted to back out of the deal, a firm deal. And I mean, this is, whether it's real estate, whether it's anything, once you have an agreement, like, it's a binding agreement. But his answer was that it would be fine just to cancel it and go to litigation. So it was surprising to me, because I've never had this. I've never had to have anyone like cancel a deal and go to litigation. Like, it hasn't been my experience. Like, we work so hard to make it happen, and then we've been able to make it happen. But he, I guess, had a lot of experience in having this happen. So he was ready to go. And I had a great chat with him. We kind of talked it out, and I said, like, we don't want this to get canceled. You don't want it to cancel. I don't want it canceled. My clients don't want it canceled. And I feel like your clients probably don't want it canceled because they said they wanted this house. So we were able to work it out. But at the end of the day, like, that's that camaraderie. You want to make sure that you can get on the same page with people, and it's not my way or your way. It's, let's figure out what's best for everyone. And it's just learning. So last thing, so we talked about pivoting, we talked about camaraderie, getting on the same page, and now giving back. So excited. So I am on the organizing board for the Fight to End Homelessness event in London. And this is about to be our 4th event this week. It is a lot, like a year of planning every year. And we're so excited. We have 32 fighters ready to get into the ring. We have like 1,000 people coming, sponsors and community support, and just such a beautiful thing. All the money raised goes to Youth Opportunities Unlimited. And to date, we've raised $730,000 for this beautiful organization. And we've been helping with this project called Jones Place. We were able to actually go see Jones Place. So when you work so hard for something and you can actually see the result, it's so beautiful. A lot of my charitable donations go to the Shelter Foundation with Roy LePage. So that helps ANOVA here in town, also helping, this helps women and children. But with Youth Opportunities Unlimited, it helps youth experiencing homelessness. It helps youth who are struggling, and it helps them kind of with wraparound services get on their feet. It's beautiful. Our goal is to get that donation amount that we're able to give over $1 million. So we're sitting at 730 for the last 3 events. And this one, we're hoping to get over $1 million. And it's such an amazing thing to be a part of. I feel so blessed and so fortunate to be on this board. And here's the thing, guys, like, what are we doing it all for? Like, we talk about Realtor Life, we talk about helping people, guiding people. Yes, we do it. We do it because we do very well at it. With Realtor Life, sometimes you're volunteering and sometimes you're working for money. It really depends. But at the end of the day, we're trying to make an impact, right? We're trying to kind of give back where we can. And one of the things with owning your own business and owning your own, whether it's an entrepreneur or a realtor, you get to choose where you're putting your time. So you can help your clients, you can help the community, you can help people, you can volunteer. And it just depends, right? Like, so on last weekend, my husband and I were able to be part of a group with the Run Parlor. We're in a run group. Heather at the Run Parlor is crushing this Learn to Run group that we're in. And we were supposed to do a run like in front of the parade, but there was a logistical issue. And so we ended up leading the parade. And just being part of this community in London is so beautiful. Seeing all the smiling faces of the parents and the kids. It was so touching, and our faces were like sore from smiling so much. And when you're thinking of your career, whether you're listening from London, Ontario, whether you're listening from anywhere, how can you make yourself kind of what you do make an impact? How can you be part of the community? How can you bring smiles to faces? It's very exciting. It's very exciting, and I am so grateful to be part of the community. Thank you so much for listening, guys. We talked today about pivoting and brainstorming when you need to pivot, camaraderie with our colleagues and getting on the same page, and also giving back. If you have any questions, if you want to be on this podcast to be interviewed, we have some really fun interviews coming up. Just let me know. I am Crystal Lee Moore-Lucier, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Crystal Lee Moore. This is Realtor Life, and I'm so happy you listened today.